Hello everyone, welcome to Jacqs. Thank you for joining me today. I am coming to share some of the components that I used to create my March design team project for Calico Collage. And I initially had started out doing a tutorial on creating the Traveler's Notebook journal, but as I mentioned in an earlier video, my energies got distracted elsewhere. So what you'll see in this particular video is just components of things that I did to create some of the pages in the Traveler's Notebook journal. So I hope you enjoy. Thanks a lot. Okay, before we get started on the pages, I wanted to share with you that this collection is a collaboration between Norella, who is Calico Collage, and this is her Etsy shop. I will link that down below. And it's a collaboration with Linda Israel, and I will link her shop down below. It is called Outrageous Orange, and it is a printable journal kit. So here are what the pages look like. I thought I'd just go through this real quick to show you. This is your journaling cards. Here's some ephemera pieces, some more journaling cards and ephemera, some pockets there. I love that they have this word search that's so much fun, as well as the tickets. Those are awesome. Here's some more ephemera, and these pieces here are like corner pockets for your journals. And then this begins the cover and pages. So you notice this is what I printed on the inside of the cover that I created. I love these pages, they're so pretty. And I love that you have calendar and week pages to fill in case you have appointments. Okay, so that is all of the kit images. And so I will turn the camera over so we can actually see what I've done with some of them. I am making a traveler's notebook, and one of the things I'm starting on first is the cover. In her kit, she has a little booklet cover here, and I really just loved this so much that I took it and resized it, and I actually covered the butterfly image label because I want to add that separately and build dimension around it and on it. And so I have a nice little cover to work with. And then what I did was cut it out to match my Traveler's Notebook page size. And the page size is 4 1/4 across, and it's 8 1/4 in length. So I cut the cover just a little bit over, let's see here, it's about 4 7/16. Okay, so I took that larger piece and I cut it down to 5 inches across and then 8 1/4 lengthwise. And I'm doing that because I want to connect the two pieces together. So I'm also going to turn this page upside down so that I can lay it on the inside about 1/2 inch and overlap to create the cover, because I want this to be on the front of the cover. I really like that. All right. So here's our scoreboard. As you see, I have printed one of her designs on the inside of this cover so that it would already have something there. We're going to score at 1/2 inch in fold this over just so that it's okay. And now what I'm going to do is adhere this to the front of the cover. And I'm going to use my art glitter glue to do that. I'm sorry, my bottle is so ugly. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Okay, so once I have it together, this is what it looks like on the inside. You'll see a 1/2 inch overlap on the front cover, but you won't be able to tell on the outside. What I'll do is probably use some antique distress ink to go around the edges and probably black along the edge here so that it matches. So that's the first part of our front cover. Okay, now that I have it all inked up on the edges, I'm going to reinforce the center fold a little bit by adding some duct tape that I got from Hobby Lobby when they were having those great sales last year. And I'm going to use this fantastic color. It doesn't actually say what color it is, but look how awesome that is. I'm going to put just a little bit of art glitter glue here on both sides of the fold. We're going to center this up the best we can. So it's a little bit over to the right based on that. All right, I just need to fix this down here. See, yeah, it's great having this part here in the middle so that I can tell if I'm in the center or not. I think that's pretty good. We'll burnish that down real good. I love those colors together. Very awesome, very shimmery. Okay, let's fold this on the outside. And then we'll cut the excess. Perfect. Now what I've also decided to do was add some lace to both sides of the center. And I'm using this Celebrated, it's called Aria, a vintage blush rose antique extra wide ribbon, and I believe I got that from Michael's. So as you can see, I tore it off from the actual linen in the center. But I really like that. Let's see, do we want it to go that way? Yeah. So I'm going to adhere this, just like you see it here, using Fabri-Tac, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have adhered the ribbon to the inside of the cover, and now they are little pockets on both sides. I think that turned out really well. I love how this is looking. I love all the coordinating colors here. Now for the front of the cover, I have cut out some of this fabric that looks like linen, and I've kind of pulled the threads on the edges to give it a bit of a fraying look. I've adhered a fashion pin, or bulb pin that people call it, and I even actually painted it copper so that it would match this copper Tim Holtz circle charm here that says Moments on it. And then I'm going to layer the butterfly label on top of that. So I've added some thick chipboard to the back of the butterfly label so that it gives it some dimension. Okay, I'm going to glue all this down and I'll be back to show you the final look. Okay, so here we are. This is how it turned out. I think it looks really cute, and it has enough going on that it's not too much. I kind of like a clean look here, so I'm really liking this a lot. So that's our cover. The next I'll be working on pages and decorating the inside of the journal, and I will just do a regular pamphlet stitch on this. Okay, so here we are. I am printing out the digital kit on 32-pound weight paper, and I will link that down below. I got it off of Amazon, and I'm telling you, 32-pound weight paper is luscious. If you haven't tried it, you might want to, and it's really not that much more expensive than normal copy paper. And it just gives a nice weight to the paper, as well as a very smooth feel to it. It just feels really luscious. So here they are printed out, and you can see the images just print out wonderfully. So this is just printing not a borderless image on the paper. So what I have done, as you know, this is our cover. I already have the pages kind of cut and folded the way that I want them, but I did kind of want to go through it real quick. I actually almost started decorating, and I thought, oh no, I gotta wait, because I wanted to share that with you. So here on this page, you can see I have taken that ribbon from the same ribbon and linen mix, and I have adhered some of that here. So here was the whole ribbon. This is what it looks like. And what I did was cut just this part off that had the dots on it. So I cut that off, and then I ended up with this being left. And I took the dot part and I added it here. And I just thought that once it's in the cover, you know, you have this cute little ribbon lace peekaboo, and the dots here mirror the dots that are here on this linen, and I just thought that was awesome. I love how that all coordinated together. So after I did that piece, then I remembered I wanted to film, you know, decorating, so I stopped and just put a paper clip on the back here with the lace that I will add there at the end. So now on some of the pages I cut down to be 4 1/4 by 8 1/4, and so they would just look like, let me show you here. They would just look like this, cut down. So when you're cutting it down and your paper is like this, you actually need to cut it by 8 1/2 by 8 1/4. That way when you fold it, you will have 4 1/4 going across here and still your 8 1/4 going this way. Okay? So that's how I did the cutting of the pages. Sometimes I would cut down and cut the bottom part off. Sometimes I just left the extra piece on. So if this was the full page, I would cut it down to the size that I needed, but instead of cutting off this extra, I left it on and folded it over. Now I may make a pocket by adding glue here and here, or I may just leave it as a flip out. So I have a couple of these in here, and I like the variety that that brings. So there's our first page. When you turn it, we have this page here. This is a sheet that I just bought from Hobby Lobby. I haven't even done the haul video on that yet. This is from Renewing Minds. I got it for 99 cents at Hobby Lobby. You got 50 sheets in this notepad. And I just love the colors. I love the dots on it. I thought it went really well with the page that she had with the green dots, which I love that color. And so that's what I'm using there. What was kind of cool here is it actually lends like a little peekaboo into the next page, and the dots also correspond with these little florals that she's got going on there. So this one, as I showed you, I just cut that down as a straight 8.5 all the way across, 8 1/4 down. Now this paper here is something new I got from Hobby Lobby as well, and I'm just loving. I love the texture. It's very thick. It's kind of grainy. And when I mean grainy, it's like the fibrous. Fibrous is a better word. So it's very fibrous, and I love that. So that is another product that I recently just bought at Hobby Lobby. I got this massive pack, 200 sheets of manila drawing paper, and it's medium weight textured by Pacone, and it was $1.74, regularly $6.99 at Hobby Lobby. This was an excellent buy, and you saw they're using like pencil drawings on here, and I just love the color, I love the texture, and I love that it was it's heavier than copy paper, so that was another thing that I've added. I thought it went really well with the colors that she has here in the floral and even up here in this little postage stamp thing. So yeah, I'm just loving how this is all coming together. On this page, I did just cut off the extra. Now this paper here, I purchased from Amazon, and it is premium masking paper. It's 12 by 60 yards, and it comes in this big roll. And it's from Trimico, and it's paper that they use in drywalling, if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of a thin paper, so more like copy paper, but even then I feel like it's a little bit more delicate. It does have the fibers in it that you can see. I just love seeing the fibers, I don't know. So I cut this down to match the page, and I've added it there. Again, the coloring, it matches so well with this kit. I just had to put it in there. You can also write on this. I wrote on it with pencil. Hopefully you can see that, but it came out just fine, so you can write on that paper. Now on this paper, I left the extra on it, and again, I'm going to figure out as I go along whether it becomes a pocket or just a flip out. Here's our next page. I love having these two beside each other. Something about the coloring went really well. So I didn't put any paper in between that. Now this is just a regular ruled line paper I got from Staples. I love the coloring. Again, I think it matched really well. I like to alternate the decorative papers with plain. And here I added a solid pink copy paper. Again, I got that at Staples or Office Max, and I loved how this pink pulled out the colors here in the flowers. Sometimes, you know, you can get overwhelmed by other images or colors, but if you find one thing in there that matches it, it will just pull it out, and then you can really see it. That's kind of what we did here on the cover. I'm going to switch for a moment. When you put this in, you may think that an orange or green would have been better. But if you look at the coloring, there's slight pink in here. And that's what I was trying to pull out, the lightly pink parts of it by using the ribbon. And actually, it just brought it out really well. See here? And then it made everything go very cohesive together. So when you're trying to put your images together, you might want to consider that as well. I could have put a yellow paper here, and then it would have really pulled out the yellow in these floral images here. So things like that just kind of brings a whole fresh look to a page. Here's some more of that masking paper. And again, I used this so it could pull out the green and the dots. some more of the manila drawing paper. And I put this here so that it would pull out this creamy yellow in the dragonfly's wings. And I thought that turned out really well. Here is the center page. Now for the center page, I printed this on cardstock, 110-pound weight. I will also link that down below because I get that at Amazon, and it's a good price. It's also available at Walmart, but it's basically the same price. Sometimes I find it cheaper on Amazon, quite frankly. So on this one, we're doing something special with that page. So that kind of just walks you through the pages. See how this yellow here pulls out the yellow in here, or that manila color, I should say. Again, pulling the green. And this pink actually pulls the pink out of the background here. Yes, it's all going together so well. Okay, so what we're going to do next is start the decorating process. Okay, so here we are, and for the first part of the journal, I wanted to put something here in the pocket, and there was a page that looked like this, so I cut it in half. I then scored it 2 times, and I put some black ink around the edges, folded it up, and I thought that would look great right there. I thought it needed a little black coloring over here, and so I like that this also matches the front. So that's the first thing I did, and you guys know I already added the lace ribbon here. On this page, there was another page that looked like this, and it actually had a little bit more of the white index type paper here. I cut that off, and I have folded this in 2 places, but I made sure that the width was like just a little bit under 4 1/4 so that I could add it here to this page. And what I'm going to do is add it there. I'm going to create a pocket out of this. So I'll seal this, this, and this. And I will leave this side open. So this, you will have a pull out for your month. You could fill out here. And then you will be able to have, you know, a little hidden pocket there. You would actually also be able to write on the back side if you folded it this way. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to move my pages out and this up. And again, I'm just going to use some art glitter glue. Let's see, I'm going to make sure I have this going the right way. So I'm going to add it glue here, just lightly along the edge. Taking this page and aligning it. I'm putting it on here right before the crease. I don't want to bulk up the crease at all. So just slightly right above it. I'm sure you'll be able to see. So here's the crease, and as you see, I went in just a little bit before that, maybe 1/16 of an inch, and then align the sides to the page. So now you'll have a little pocket right here, as well as a pull-out. Thought that would be a great way to start the journal in case you use it for 1 month. You would actually have the 1 month here for you. I thought maybe later on I might add a paper clip or something here to hold it, and to also let people know that there is in fact a little pocket here if you wanted. We can put this one here for the time being. Okay, so that goes there. For our next page, we are going to be putting some decoration on the back side of this one. What I've already done is kind of layered. As I mentioned, there was more of the ledger paper, like that was what was there, and I cut it off. And then I decided to layer one of the tickets. She had a banner in the kit, and so I layered them. I stapled them with Tim Holtz stapler, tiny attacher, and cut just a little bit of this off so that it would be within the frame. So what I'm going to do here is kind of make a little belly band, adding some glue here and here. But I also want to put some of this lace behind it. I don't know why, just feel compelled to do that. And I think it would look really cute and kind of soften the dark over here. So I'm going to glue these components down and I'll be back. Okay, there we have it. It is all adhered, and you can slip something under there if you wanted, and to keep there. Okay, so I decided to add a word sentiment dream and a glitter bird down here, which is actually vellum. These are both vellum pieces. I picked them up from Hobby Lobby as well, from Momenta. Okay, for this next page, remember this is when we left off. I turned the page and I ended up doing some stamping over here. So I use Bo Bunny, It Is Written stamp, the musical notes. I use that here, here, and here, using the Distress Oxide Tattered Rose. Now when I first made the impression, it was way darker than I wanted, but actuality, I think it ended up being fine in the end. And then I also used the stamp from Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous, Papillion, not quite sure how to say that, but the script down below I used up here. And then I used Bo Bunny Take Note stamp, and I used this one here with the postage stamp on it, or postage mark, and I used Ranger Archival Ink Sap Green. Now the reason why I kind of ended up stamping, I was going to stamp anyways, but when I put this vellum bird on, it kind of made the paper bubble there now that it's attached. So I was trying to find some camouflage, and this is when the stamp came in handy that had the circle postage mark. So I put it here, and you actually cannot even tell that, you know, something was coming through from the other side. So keep that in mind when something doesn't turn out exactly right. You can always fix it into something else. It's turning an opportunity into something great. So that's the end of that page. Our next page is this one. And remember, it looks like this in the end. So here I've decided to add a pocket. Going to add a pocket down here. And I have a guest check. I'm going to add one of the butterflies from the digital kit and put that right in here. Now in the kit, the corner pocket here has an additional flap here where you can take it, score it, and fold it backward, and then that way it actually gives you more room in the pocket. And so for this particular pocket, I've decided not to use the flaps, so I have cut them off so that I would have more of a flat pocket. Because the guest check is so thin, I didn't want it to fall out. So here I've just put Vintage Photo around the guest check and glued down the butterfly. And so then it fits here in this pocket nice and snug. So I'm glad that I made that decision. And this is how it would look in the end. Very cute. Okay, on the next page, what I've decided to do is add some of these little flags together, put them up at the top, and then this can be a tuck for the little word search, which I absolutely think is adorable. So I'm going to cut this off so these are even, but I staggered them just for a bit of an effect there. So I'm using Ranger Archival Ink Jet Black. I'm going to put a little glue here. And glue those together. Great. And I'm going to glue those at the top. I think that looks really good right there. And then just to get rid of the white edges, I put black archival ink around this as well. And then so that will just tuck right under there. On this particular page, I don't think I'm going to do anything to it. I really like the way that it looks there. So we'll go on to our next page. So here's a cutoff from one of the pages. I think I'm going to add that here as a fold out. I'm going to use this great washi tape by Paper Studio. I think it's called Hurrah. I just love it. It has gold flecks in it as well as some of the coloring that will go in this, and a nice pop of purple. So usually I try to add a little bit of glue just to help the washi stay adhered. This one doesn't feel extremely adhesive. There, I think that's straight on the one side. Okay, slide this out from under there. And we'll add just a little bit of glue on here as well. I'm going to line up the pages. This is always a little tricky to do. And now that I see it, I'm going to have to trim that edge off just a little bit. It's a little bit too long. And then fold it over and burnish. we go. So you would turn the page and have that there, and it would flip out like that. Nice writing area here. I always like to try to leave room for writing because I truly believe in writing in journals. So I'll think about what we're going to do over here next. So for this side, I've decided to use this stamp set again, and I like the Out of Limitations Comes Creativity, and I'm going to stamp that along the side here. I'm using black to make sure that it comes through because of the green color. So I'm just going to try and align this somewhat in the center here. Yay! So there it is. And actually, I think I'm just going to leave it like that. Maybe add something like that to it. Yeah, I like that. Okay, on this side, I am going to add a corner pocket here. These flowers kind of mirror this green one here. And then put this little pocket tag in there. It's actually a library card. I think that will be cute. I'm hoping that the glue doesn't go through too much on the other side. Perfect. Can't see it. And then we'll put our little card in there. I like how the little bird just sticks out. So cute. And again, at this time, I don't think I'm going to add anything additional here. This actually lends for a good page for journaling as well as on the back here. So on this page, I am just going to make this a pocket. I think I'm going to add some fabric here. And I did find these, well, this particular dragonfly in my stash. And this little dragonfly was actually a square in the kit, and I cut it out, and I'm going to apply it over here. You know, that's one of the things you can keep in mind when using a digital kit or even just a paper pad from the store, is that you can always cut the images out of what they are currently in and use them differently. Okay, I've added some Ofre lace trim here on the inside, and I'm going to go ahead and make this a pocket. I really like how that ties in with the design on the dragonfly here. and just kind of softens the page. Now for the pocket, I decided to take one of the pages from the kit, cut it down, and add it in here. And I'm thinking about using the bird. I think that would go really well there. I think I'll cut these, the top and bottom, off there. Maybe leave just a little bit. So I've scored the paper down the side here about 1.5 inch in. Going to burnish that and then put that here in the pocket. And what I like about this is it just, I like the lines here, so yeah, I think that's done. On to the next page. Okay, so far we've done several pages together as well as the cover, and the next couple of pages I just added images from the digital kit here and here, and one down here to mirror this image. And I'm a little behind on getting my project done, so I thought we would skip to the center. I really wanted to show you this as well. So we will set that aside, and the center I actually printed out on 110-pound weight paper. I believe it is the Georgia Pacific brand. I will have that link down below. So if you remember when I shared this haul from Momenta, the Explorer Journal, it is a folder insert, and it just opens up like this to go in your traveler's notebook, and it has these little slots here. Well, I mentioned I was thinking about creating a template, and I actually have created a template. I will link that down for you, link that down below for you as well. And so this is, it will be like 2 pages. You need this size page. And then I have the left and the right side pockets. Now I did not put the slits in it, but you could certainly do that. You could even die cut an image in here. I didn't want to completely steal the design, so I only did this. But I thought we could do that together. If you use the template down below, you will cut these out. You will score a 1/2 inch in here and a 1/2 inch on this side. And you'll do that on both panels. Okay, so we'll fold this over. And then we will adhere it to the base page. So I have my art glitter glue here. And then we'll just line this up to the corner. And burnish. And so we could leave it at 1 pocket, but I'm going to go ahead and adhere the second pocket. Now one thing I want to make sure I mention is that you should cut the top part here at an angle, and then that way when you fold it over, it won't, you don't see it. Okay, so once the pockets are adhered, this is what you have, and you could certainly fold it back this way if you wanted, like they have it, or you can leave it like this, which is what I'm going to do. and put it into the center. Of course, I'll decorate it as well, but I did want to show you that and share the template with you down below. For this page, I thought about doing something a little different. So when you're on this side of the page, what I thought about doing was creating a little circle here that actually was a window to the next page, focusing around the fox here. And as I thought about that, this is a bit of a thinner paper, and so I thought I would, build some thickness by adding this corner piece from the digital kit, and that would then give this some support with the hole being there on the paper. So the first thing I did was cut out what I thought would be the right size circle. So I am using a 1.5 circle. This is from the Paper Studio punch. I took that circle, and because this pink paper, you can almost see through it a little bit, I was able to line up where I think I want it, right? So I put it over the image, and then on this side you can almost see it or feel the difference, and I took my pencil and I made light lines around each side so that I would know where to line up the circle. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and adhere this part to that side of the page. So see, this is under here. I just lifted it up so I could adhere that. I've inked the side with black archival ink, and I'm just going to put this down on two sides so that it could still be used as a pocket if we want it to be that way. So I'm just lining it up here with the edge. And pressing down. Okay, now I'm going to go over to the opposite side here and cut out the circle that I've kind of drawn there. I'm going to open this up so I could actually see the pencil mark because it's so light. I'm going to do my best to line this up to where I had the marks. Okay, so it cut out the pink paper as well as the design from the opposite side here. And let's put this together and see what we get. So now we have like this little window with the fox showing through. I think that is adorable. Now, because when we turned the page, I was kind of thinking about the hole that it creates. And yes, we can certainly, insert something there in the pocket. But I was thinking it would be also very cool if we took the part that we cut out and realigned this and then glued it down to be on the opposite page here, and then create some design over here. So that's what I'm going to do. So that I have a flat page, I took the weight of the other pages out. I'm adding art glitter glue to this piece. And now I'm going to line it up. Make sure the pages are lined up as best we can get them. There we go. And then line this up here. Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. Love it. And then now when we lift the pink page, voila. I'm so excited about that. I love it. So see when it's open? Awesomeness. So I'm thinking about something that we can put around this to highlight it. I haven't figured that out yet, but I'll be back. Okay, so earlier I had printed out the digital kit in a smaller size, so I think I'm going to use this to be the next circle, and I'm going to target this area here. And then this was a Recollections punch. This is 1 inch. And then now I'm going to use a 3/4 inch punch, and this one is EK Success. Now for this one, I kind of like these little bursts there. Let's see, will it be there? Or here? Oh, right there. I think I like that. So we will arrange these in some fashion. I kind of like the fact that looks like it was shooting out, but then I want to make some motion with this. So I'll play around with that and I'll be back. On this side, I've taken this out of the digital kit and I cut off, there was a fox on this side of it, and I cut that off. And I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to glue it on the 3 sides so that you can tuck things up underneath there if you would like. So I'm going to glue that down. Now one of the things I'm doing here is allowing the pink to show on all sides. I just think that lets the pink in the orange part here come out and add a little cohesion. Oh my gosh, you guys, so I've been playing around with this page for a little while, and I'm hiding it right now because I'm kind of excited about how it turned out. So we had the circle here, I added this up here, and I had this from the kit, and I just folded that over to be tucked up under there for more writing space. But on this side, what I have done is try to design something that would go great with the circle being here. So I've used this decorative trim from Hobby Lobby, the vine, which who doesn't love that vine? It's awesome. So I've cut little pieces and I've just added it along, and after I cut out all these different size dots, and I tried to get the lines to follow and just kind of make up this flower, and I am loving it. And then on this side, I added this little one here, and it actually gives a focal point for the little fox here, as if he was looking at the floral. So I am thinking this is adorable. I'm going to now glue everything down, and that will be it for these 2 pages. Okay, there's what it looks like when it's all glued in. I'm thinking that's extremely cute. I love it. Love how that worked out. Kind of gives a break from what we normally see. Very cute. So for this page, I want to do another fabric flip, and if you recall, the last design team project that I created, I did a fabric flip hidden pocket. And what I would like to do this time is a fabric flip, but it will have a hidden pocket on the actual fabric. So what I've done is cut a little portion out of this Tim Holtz fabric that I recently purchased from Hobby Lobby. It's nothing but tickets. I absolutely love this. I thought there would be so many uses for it. So I've cut out just a little bit of it. I sewed, I pushed some of it over, and then I sewed down both sides, and it will be the keeper of our Admit One little ticket to go right here. Yeah. So I'm just going to use, I thought about sewing it on there, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. This paper is so thin. So I decided to just use Fabri-Tac I'm going to put that along the top here. Line it up to where I want it. And press down there. Get any excess off. Yeah, that's paper is extremely thin. And then so we would put our little ticket in here. It's almost white enough to hold it this way if I would cut the orange off of it, but I'm not going to. So there you go. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with this gummy type eraser. I will try to find it and link it down below for you. This is a Heaven Sent. So if you saw me add the fabric, you may have noticed that I got a little glue on the top. Well, if you just use this gummy eraser, it will get the extra glue off without ripping the paper if you don't push really hard. And I like to go in one direction when I'm trying to get the glue off. See? All fixed. For the opposite page, I decided to use this card in the kit as well as this ticket. And I'm going to put it on the side and adhere it down here. So I'm going to cut this off. Okay. For now, I've decided to just glue it down here at the bottom and leave the whole thing open, because then you would be able to insert something in there that would be, you know, wider across. So for now, that's what I'm going to do. Before I was going to glue down the admit ticket part as well, but I'm not sure if that's what I want to do so far, so that is that. Okay, so now that we have all the pages done, the next thing to do is to bind everything together. So what I've done is from 0, I've gone 1.5 to the right, 1.5 to the left, and from there, again, another 1.5 and 1.5. So that gives you equal markings and a total of 5. I then took the pages and used my awl, and I marked it with a pencil, and I had then used my awl to mark the holes. Now the way I did that was I just took a couple pages at a time. I used this old phone book, put the pages on the book, fold them this way, and then push the awl down, having this at a little bit of a V so that it'll go straight through rather than at an angle. Okay. Now I've already loaded embroidery thread onto a needle, and again, you only do, you know, pull it through a little bit just so that you don't lose the tail, you don't knot it or anything like that. We are going to go in from the center all the way through to the other side. And I put lotion on my fingers, so now I can't pull it through. Hold on. Once we have it through there, we're going to bring it up to the very next hole, not to the top, but to the next one. And we're going to go back in through all those pages. I'm going to use one of these rubber fingers because I just put lotion on my hands and I'm having a little trouble pulling the needle through. Okay, so we pull that through, you know, leaving a good sized tail there. Now the next thing we do is we're going to go up to the top and do that hole. So again, pushing it all the way through all the pages. Okay, now that we've come through the top, let's make sure our thread is tight. There. So we've gone in through the middle here, back through this spot here, and then up through the top. And now we're going to go back through this second hole. And when you do that, make sure that you do not go into the other thread that's already there, because it will then split it and make the thread weak. Okay, so we're going to push through the same hole that this one is in. Going to again make sure that's tight. We'll leave this thread tail on that side. Okay, now that we have the top two holes, we're going to skip down to the one just below the center. Okay, now we are going to go through this very last hole here. Okay, pull your thread tight, and again we're going to go down into this hole right above it. Again, be careful of the threading. And then we're going to go back into the center hole. And I'm going to want to come out on the opposite side. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is just make sure all the threads are tight, and then we will tie that off. Again, I kind of go at an angle. Sometimes I kind of just give them a little snap just to make sure they're fairly tight. This one's quite loose and that one's loose, but these are tight. So we'll work those to be tighter. And with one tail on one side of the center thread and one on the other, we're going to then tie a knot. I usually tie at least two. And then you can cut those off to whatever length that you like. In this particular case, I think I'm going to just cut it down rather than leave something hanging. And there we go. We have our book is all sewn. So there you have it, everyone. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you real soon.